Hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. Indeed, this program is, as you know, about women, or women, and by a woman. Here we talk about the triumphs and challenges and the struggles that our women go through. And then we talk about how they have triumphed. But I'm taking a little out of a man this week. How women were in the form of both his mom and his wife, and just how we have impacted his life, and so many more of you who are watching. On set with me today is Mr. Jamar Wright. So Jamar is the founder of Mindful International, and you are a leadership coach, sir, inspirational teacher, I possessing a degree in bank finance with a minor in international business, author of 3 books, family man, a radio station host, and the list goes on. And this is what we say about our women, that they wear many hats. Now we also know that our men wear many hats.
Before we even go into all of the titles, because if we minus the title, probably if it wasn't for I think 4 particular female in my life: my mother, my grandmother, my wife, and my aunt, and they all play a very, very critical role in my life. And so for all of this person that is sitting right here, many of you probably you haven't heard my story before, but if you minus all of that, the person who's sitting here have went through a lot in terms of poverty, because I grew up in a place called Bagwalk, but for those of you, Bagwalk is in St. Catherine. It's between Spanish Town and Lindsay. Right after you pass a place called Ken Village, there it's Bagwalk sitting right here. And so I grew up in a big board house. That house was built 30 years before I was born.
Okay, now a board house.
Yeah, a board house. And it was catch and 4 blocks. So we used to have a thing called cellar. We have to have the wooden floor, and sometimes when we walk, we used to fall through the floor. And we used to have a thing we call veranda. Now my grandmother, that house was built by my grandfather. And you can just imagine a house that has never been repaired for 30 years. Now we used to call the house with a house. That's what my grandmother used to call it. And 11 of us used to live in it. The people in the lane, they used to call that house a chicken coop.
No, Jesus.
Because 11 of us, can you imagine 11 of us live in a board house? And so that board house, it used to divide up between 3. 1 room for my grandfather, 1 room for my mother, and the rest of it was for my cousin. Luckily, there was no female, just boys.
Oh.
And so we had 2 bed in our room. And so when it rains, we used to have to roll up the mattress, because when it rained, that's why my grandmother called it the dry weather house, because we have to set bucket and everything to collect that water. Now, if water touched that mattress, it used to be stink, and so we have to roll it up. No, we used to have a food stamp. Many people don't know what food stamp is.
I think they still give them out.
It is called parts, because because we matriculated into parts. We didn't get electricity in 2003, so we were without electricity. Now, when we used to process our meat, we used to have to put salt, but we used to put it in a dish. Or for example, chicken, we used to have to season it up the night before, because we didn't have a refrigerator, because we didn't have electricity, because we received electricity in 2003. And at one point, I used to attend school 2 times per week. I remember in grade 6, teacher called me, not the teacher, the principal, and she said, "I want to speak to your parents." And so I went and I asked my mother, why is it that she can't send me to school every day? A matter of fact, they used to call me Rosie Leather or Rosemary Bad Breed son, because we didn't used to go to school. They used to call us Rosie Leather Beast or Rosie Bad Breed. They used to say, we need to put you guys in a barrack and roll you away. You don't know, we don't really sure if you have a purpose, or why would somebody like you. Even I went to him and I asked him, a rolling stone with no abiding master. I don't know what that cliche come from. And so we used to play football right throughout the day when we never used to go to school. So they said those are, we know their destination by what, because if you see somebody every day, we only have 2, and we never have the best of clothes anyway. And so when I went and I asked my mother, I said, "Mommy, why is it that you can't send me to school every single day?" She didn't answer me. What she did, she went into she took out her payslip. And this is the year 2000, people. This is how I couldn't me her pay slip, and she was earning less than 2,000 Jamaican dollars. Told me that because my mother, she get paid every Thursday, because I know that because whenever she get paid on Thursday, she would buy us snacks. And so when my mother get paid, because she used to work at a place called Tolo Estate, and I used to attend Tolo School, so I'm assuming that at Tolo Estate, she used to pick the banana and prepare it for it to export. And when that was because banana, sometime I used to pour the fertilizer at the root of the cane, and she said, especially when it rain, if rain catch you inside the cane piece, it used to itch your skin, and sometimes she said that the cane leaf, it used to cut you. And so she when she showed me that, she never said anything, she showed me that, and I understand the situation, because when she get paid on church, she could send us to school on Friday. Wow. She cook Saturday, she cook Sunday. And by Monday there was hardly any money for you to go to school. Now when I did GSAC, there were very few people. Think about it, it's logical. It's if somebody attending school 2 times, I'm not going to expect much from somebody who's going to do exam. Right. 2 days. And so when I did, they placed me at St. Mary's College. Now, St. Mary's College is not in St. Mary. It's in Above Rock. It's in Above Rock, St. Catherine. Above Rock is right between the border of rural St. Andrew and rural St. Catherine. And so when I started, I think my father had started to chip in, but before that, I used to only receive 100 Jamaican dollars. And at that time, it was like $80 for the fare, so minus 80 from. So I ended up working part time. One of my cousins, he said that that at that time they used to have what they call roots. So roots was a thing before Red Bottom, that, but he started his own company, and at the time it was growing, and so he employed 15%. So one day my cousin called me and said, you know what, can you come and help to mix the roots for me? And I went, and he gave me $500. No, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. It was a typical rags to riches story with $500. I worked $500 in less than 3 hours. So I said to him, I said, can I come in the evening after school and help you mix the roots? I say, you know what, I'm going to ask my grandmother, because my grandmother, she keep repeating that somebody has to, she used to drill it in her head. She said, we can't allow people prophecy to fulfill in your life. And
come on, say that again.
You can't allow people prophecy to fulfill in your life. And she was a woman, she was a Christian. She used to carry me to the church. But at one point I stopped, because I was saying to my grandma, I said, Grandma, I remember one time they run us out of the police station, because we used to go to the police station to collect, quoting that our God own a cattle and the 1,000, and we don't even own a house. Yes. The land that we live on, it was a lease with a board. So now I asked my grandma, why is it that we couldn't even build a black house? And she said, no, the land that we live on, it was a lease. So my mother used to drill it. She said, somebody has to escape poverty. She said, somebody has to amount to some. And she used to drill it in her head. She used to drill it, say, a little sleep and a little sleep until poverty comes up upon us. And she, by the time when nobody could sleep until 7 a.m. in the morning, we have to get up and find something industrious and do. And she says, somebody, somewhere, we have to get out of poverty. Somebody have to get out of poverty. She said, I did not go far in school because of the amount of kids that I have, but she says, somebody have to break the cycle of poverty. And so we keep on hearing that. I mean, at the time it was very tempting. You could go anyway and become destructive. But what happened to me was in grade 9, because I was wayward by the time I hit grade 9.
But hold on. He's on set, CEO of Mind Foods International. He's sharing how his grandmother spoke life into him, despite the fact that those around them called them Rolling Stone and told them that they serve no purpose. And so he's sharing how out of poverty, how he moved out of poverty and basically has elevated himself and his family. Yeah. So now you're at...
Because what had happened is that my mother bought me a shoes, and I remember vividly, and this is why I stopped attending class, and my grade plummeted, because I was like a 75. I wasn't an A+ student, but I was a 75, grade 9 now. I remember one day when I went to school, my mother bought me a shoes. I can't pronounce the name of the shoes. They used to call me Sao by the name of the shoes. It's spelled S-A-O. And so what my mother used to do when they used to buy us a shoes, they used to draw the paper. First morning at grade 9, this was you look down on my shoes. And he said to me, he said, Jamar, you know I wear a Timberland, right? And I said, yeah, it's a nice Timberland. He said, my Timberland is about 7 grand. And he said, you know what? I saw your shoes downtown. And shoes was selling for about 200 or 300. He said, my shoes can start a little mini store and I sell your shoes. He said, I can have a. And from that moment, they used to call me South. They used to trouble me by the shoes. And so I was embarrassed about the fact that I was wearing such a, cheap shoes, because most Sunday we used to go to this shoemaker by the name of Leo to get our shoes glued. And he knows, Leo knows. So by the time when we with or without money, Leo just take our shoes and glue it up, or sometimes he stitch it up. So the shoes sometimes was in the plural, and so I stopped attending class.
So you stopped going to school?
No, not school. I go to school, but I used to school.
You school? Yeah. Because of your shoes?
Yeah, because
my God.
Moment happened in the last class in grade 9. And I think the guidance counselor, I went to guidance counselor for the very first time since the school term. And she said, as some of you, I'm going to see you 2 years from now selling bag juice and selling banana chips. And she said, the sad thing about this is that so many of you inside here, you are brighter than my daughter. My daughter is in at med school right now. She's not brighter than none of you right here. And she said, I can say it. And she said, the thing is that some of you parents, you are not rich. No rich parents send their kids to St. Mary's College. And she said, the chances are one of you sitting down right here, your mother is doing a job, or your father. And when I remember that, I remember my mother, because my mother was worried. I said, this lady is talking about my story. And I said, I went out and I cried. And at that time, like the prodigal son, I came to myself. Now, after I did CXC, they signed me up. I changed my life, get signed up for my entire CXC. In the year 2005, I was walking through the lane and somebody said, do you know that you have an uncle? He's a big manager at Digicel. And so while I was walking, that this is my father brother. He called me and he said, do you have a phone? And I said, no. And so he gave me one of the latest phone, because at the time he was a manager at Digicel. And she said, you know what, I'm going to call it. And so that December he called me and said, you know what, I have a work at Digicel for you during the Christmas time. Because at the time I wasn't working, because I wanted to focus on CX. And he said, you know what, the job I'm going to pay $1,500 a day for. And I'm more, I was like the richest man now in Bagua, because I was working 6 days a week for $1,500 a day. And so his wife has her son, and she said, you know what, you are going to leave poverty because that. And so my uncle's wife, she took me on as one of her sons. And so at the time I didn't have a passport. She said, you need a passport. She said, you know what, we are going to open a bank account. And by the time she said, you know what, do you sign up for university? And I said, you know what, I want to go to Portmore. And she said, no, you must sign up for U. And so we signed up for UTech, and I went to sixth form. She said, you know what, you can stay with me and go to UTech. And so I stay with them by another house in Caribbean Estate. And she said, you know what, I want you to put in the information, because they were going upstairs with the house. And by the time I put in, I said to her, auntie, this is personal information. She said, no, I'm breaking poverty from your mindset, that when you reach to a certain year, there's no house that you will see our car. Because at the time we had 4 cars in the house. And she said, you are not here just to see these things. She said, one of the things you must never do, these material things, they can come and go, because the carpet can pull from beneath your feet. So she said, but you are here to see these things, that when you grow and get big, these things don't become your foundation of life. Yes. But it is there to show you that you can break poverty and help people. And so she kind of took me step by step until I actually removed that mindset. Now, when I was in the year 2003, I'm married to Nas, and then everything started.
Today, Jamar Wright, CEO of Mind Foods International, and he's sharing with us just the impact of women in his life, his mom, his grandmother, his teacher, his uncle's wife, right? We've got so many women already. Women, there's power in you. He's a Governor General awardee, so we'll hear more when we get back.
Mind Food International comes about. It wasn't anything. It wasn't an idea. It was one day I was on the bed with Nas, and I heard a voice 3 times. It said, those stuff that you have on Facebook, you need to put it in an email and send it out. I heard the voice again, and so I was about to post something, and I said, you know what, I'm going to post it in the email. And so I posted in the email and I called it Food for the Mind. It's something about be a reservoir and not a river. That was the first message. And so I sent it out. And then somebody called me, and her name was Sandy. She became our best friend, and she said, you know what, Jamar, I don't know you yet. But she said, you should send this out every single day. And I continue with the email. The email listing grow until it become 400.
Wow.
Until people started to call us. As a matter of fact, my cousin saw the email and he said, you know what? This name is too long. Food for the Mind. He said, call it Mind Food International. I said, no, it's just something. So you call this thing Mind Food International. I said, no, it's just an email. And he said, you know what, you need a logo for this. And I said, no. And he said, you know what, you're going to thank me in the future. And so he developed the logo for us. We called it Mind Food International. One of our friends that I used to attend high school with, and he used to go to university together, he said, Jamar, I love this thing. You need a Facebook page for it. And I said, no, Omanza.
So hold on. So we hear.
Man don't realize that the power that they have something, because I always joke and say, if it can be done, Nas will get it done. I'm like an architect who can dream something, but I necessarily can't build it. Nas is a person who can build that thing. She has that power, and I think woman is unique in the sense that when God created them to be helpmeet, is that they have the power to build something that many men can't do.
Yes.
And so many women, when they're married, they're afraid of the word submission. But submission is not a dangerous word. Submission in itself, it simply means to respect somebody as the leader in that. And so when a female married and says, oh my God, I have to submit. No, when you have a true man and he has a vision and a purpose, and you become a part of that. And let me say to the men, you have to involve your wife in your purpose and your vision. If you don't involve her, she will not feel a part of the family. And so everything I'm doing, and Nas is a part of it. And so I even popular her forward, because I used to say, babes, you can be a HR consultant. You have been sitting on this board for a long, submitting. You need to do this. And she said, right now, she walked into her purpose. And so female, you have the power and you have the energy. So when marriage is really a purpose to get God's purpose done on earth, that's what marriage. And so when God is not only to have children, but the principle of being multiply and subdue, it's all about your purpose, your vision. So if you write a book, you write one book, and then you multiply that book, and then you subdue the market. To subdue means to become the market leader, and then you have dominion for God. That is what you want.
I am loving it, sir.
Yeah.
Touch me. Thank you so much, Jamar, for coming and sharing.
Yeah.
I mean, women, I'm telling you, we needed to hear it from somebody else or from the mouth of the men that indeed we are unique. We are superwoman, right? We can do it. You need to check out Jamar's page and his Instagram page. I mean, every morning he posts things that it leaves you stirred. One morning I was reading where he said that he gets up 3 o'clock in the mornings and he just can't go back. The Lord has him there writing Mind Foods International. They are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
All over. Check them out. Thank you so much again for tuning in. If you'd like to have your story aired here